Welcome back everyone. Today we are taking a deep dive into the manufacturing OS. I am Pika from Pika Notion. I designed this workspace specifically to help you take complete control of your production and operations. And I am going to show you the main dashboard and break down the core databases so you can see exactly how it works. So let's get right into it. Our first chart is a sales order chart, which shows our sales orders by month. So this is going to show you the months, January, February, and March, and the total sum of the sales orders that you have for each month. The second chart is going to be a chart that's showing you the status of these sale orders and the corresponding value for each status. For example, this is 170k in code, 4.3k in confirmed, and 722 in production. Next, we have the production run chart. This is going to show you the count of the production runs in certain statuses. For example, one production run in QA, two started, and one that currently doesn't have a status. And next is the burn rate. This is a chart that's going to show you your expenses categories and the amount that you have spent in each category. We have also the orders that is confirmed shown in your dashboard, the production dates, start date and end date, and the restock watch list, which is going to show you your stocks alerts, either low stock or out of stocks, depending on a reorder point. And the final one is the active tasks. This is going to show you only the active tasks and no tasks that are completed. Now let's jump into our core databases and our views. Starting with the item library. This is database where you are going to group all your items in your stock. These items are going to have a name, a type, which can be either raw material, finished products, or consumables. You can add a certain type if you wish to. A stock level. This is a formula that calculates the stock level available in your stock, of course. A manual adjustment value, which is going to contribute to the stock level. Let me show you the formula for the stock level. This is the total bought plus the total made plus the manual adjustment minus the total sold. And I'm going to show you where these values come from. Next is the units. You can specify the unit, the reorder point, the location, the status alert, which is a formula based on the reorder point, and the cost price. This is a very important property because, well, as you know, in production, uh, items values can change throughout time, so make sure that you regularly change the cost price in order for you to change the total value of your stock. So we have the sell price and a couple of relations that I am going to explain. So I'm going to leave the bill of materials until the database of bill of materials. It's going to be easier to explain there. And we're going to start with the purchase order line items. So this is the items that you have purchased, and based on these linked items here, it is going to calculate the total bought. Same for the sales order line items. The items that are defined in the sales order here are going to calculate the total sold. And in the production runs, the items that are in the production runs is going to calculate the total made. And these three roll-ups uh, and plus the manual adjustment, which is something that you can add manually if you um, well haven't done the right calculations, just leaves you a manual room of change, is going to calculate the total stock that you have. And of course, the total stock level times the cost price is going to give you the total value of your stock. And a calculation through this whole column is going to give you the total of everything that you have in your stock. A separation of views for raw materials, finished products, low stock items, and you can also see items by type in this view. So let's jump into the bill of materials database next. Here you can see all of your lines for bill of materials, but we have a better way of grouping these, which is by parent items. So a parent item is going to be an item that we are going to try to make, and for each parent item we can create a new group, specify the items that we are trying to make a bill of material for. This should be an item from the item library. And once we specify, for example, we want to make the F44, then we can specify the lines that is going to be to make this. And for example, let's say example of item, and we can have the quantity, and it's going to bring us the ingredient cost based on the cost price of this related child item, which is going to be defined here. So for example, if we are saying that we need this example of the item, and let's say the item is the F35. It's going to upgrade the ingredient cost to calculate uh, the first line, uh, well, ingredient cost. And we can add many other items in order for us to make this item. And finally, let's update the quantity needed. For example, let's say 2, and it's going to update also the total cost. So after adding everything, it should look like this. We have all the ingredient costs, and the total cost, and all the child items that we are using. So the parent item is going to be the item that we are going to make, and the child item, all the items that we are using in order for us to make this parent item. Now let's jump into the supply chain part. First of all, we have the clients. This is where we group all our clients. There is a relation with the sale orders, so we can define all the sale orders that this client has made. Income, which is related to the income database, which can show us, for example, that this income is coming from this client. We have some information for contacting this client, like the company phone number, billing address, shipping address, etc. The active clients view only, and we can also see the clients by status, so we can always drag and drop our clients to change their status. Now the next database, which is also important, is the sale orders. Here you are going to store all your sale orders. To enter a sale order, you have to enter an order, either number or name, to keep track of it. A date, a status. You also have the related SO items. This is the the line items that are going to make this sale order. And the related clients, and we have a subtotal, which is calculated from the related line items. We have a tax property and a shipping cost that can be used in order for us to calculate a grand total, which is going to be a formula calculated using the tax and the shipping cost. We also have the total cost. This is a cost total of those items that we are making, and we will have the net profits. The net profit is going to be the grand total minus the total cost of this item. We can also add a PDF to this sell order, and we can relate it to production runs or income, add some notes, etc. So a view for in-progress sell orders. This is filtered by the status, which is in progress only. We can also add in code if you wish to. We have a view that shows us the sell orders by status, the orders timeline, and the charts that we have in the dashboard. Now let's move on to this SO line items. Okay, so then we have the SO line items. So each line here is going to be a line item of a certain sell order. Once we add that line item, we can link it to a sales order. We can define the related item in our item library, specify quantity, a unit cost, and a unit price, which is going to be the sale unit price. This is going to calculate two values, the line cost total, which is the quantity times the unit cost, and the line total, which is the quantity times the unit price. Now, if we want to view it better, we can say we can group them by sale orders. So for each sale order, there's going to be a couple of line items, and we're going to have the sum of the line total, the sum of line cost total. And we can see all of our sale orders like this. And if we want to add, we can just specify the sale order and a couple of line items to it to add the SO line items. Now let's move on to vendors. This is our vendors. We can have some rating for our vendors, the payment terms, the contact, some contact informations, the related purchase orders from these vendors, and the related expenses. We can also have the vendors grouped by rating. We can also have a list of the active vendors. Now let's move on to the purchase orders. As you can see, we have the list of our purchase orders. Each purchase order can be related to some vendors, some line items. The reason why there is some line items also for purchase orders is because you can make an order for a certain vendor that can have many items, and this will have the same logic as the sell orders, so you'll have to specify the line items in the line items database and link them here. Once you link them, there's going to be a subtotal calculated, which is the line total received value. We can also add some tasks and shipping costs in order for us to calculate the total payable value. We have also some expected delivery date and a couple of other properties like shipping address, received PDF, and expenses relations relation, and some notes. We can see our purchase order by status, and we can also see a timeline view of our purchase orders that separates our purchase order date and the expected delivery date. Now our purchase order line items, this is similar to the SO line items logic. So we can see our purchase order line items from this view grouped by purchase order is going to be visually better. So we have each line of purchase order which contains a quantity order, quantity received, a unit cost, and then we can calculate the line total order and line total received, which can be used later on the purchase order. We also have a status, which is either order, fully received, pending, etc., and a related item from the item library, which we can link to this line item. Now let's go to our production section. Starting with the production runs, we have a name of the production run, related items that we want to produce, a status. We have a standard unit cost, which comes from the related item cost price. We have the quantity produced, which calculates later the material cost. And also we have the start date, the due date, scrap quantity, related tasks to this production run, actual labor cost, which comes from related tasks. So you do have to link tasks to production run in order for us to get this value from the related tasks. And then we have the total batch cost, which is the material cost plus the actual labor cost, and the final unit cost, which is total batch cost divided by quantity produced. We also have production runs by status and the timeline of the production runs with the start date and end date, and the chart for the production run used in the dashboard. Now the tasks and operation. So here we have the list of tasks, and tasks can have a status, not started, in progress, etc. And they can be related to a certain team member. There is going to be an hour spent in these specific tasks, and we can specify an hourly rate which will calculate the labor cost. And we can also relate the production run that this task has been part of. We can see the tasks by team member in order for us, for example, to know how much we owe a specific team member. We also can see by production runs, we can see the active tasks, and by status tasks. Also have the team and labor database. Here we can store our team members, their hourly rate, they're active or not, and some contact infos, the related tasks, and the production runs. You can see here the active tasks, which is based on this checkbox, and then the team by role. Finally, our finances hub, which is the income database and the expenses database. Here we have the income database, which can be related to a certain client which this income came from, sales orders, and some amounts, payment methods, and status. We can see the income by payment method. There's also the expenses database, which is our latest database in this system. It can be related to purchase orders and vendors, and it can have an amount. Of course, there is going to be categories of expenses, which will help us build this chart later on to have a cash burn chart in our dashboard. Finally, a resources which you can read if you want to have further information or to understand something that maybe I didn't get through in this video. So this was our manufacturing OS template. If you want to buy this template, it is available on Notion Marketplace and on Gumroad. And if you want to build something customly made for you, you can contact us at contact@picanocean.com. And thank you for watching.